Bonjour et bienvenue. Welcome back. This is Herman. Je m'appelle Herman. In a previous lesson, we've seen how adjectives, French adjectives, would either be masculine or feminine. Let me give you an example. If I wrote il, let me change the color here. If I wrote il est blond, il est blond. He is blonde. He has blonde hair. Il est blond. The blond here will be masculine, but by saying elle est blonde, elle est blonde, and adding an extra e at the end, we then have a feminine adjective, an adjective in a feminine form. So e was, in the majority of cases, the marker of a feminine adjective. But we saw that there were some other exceptions. Just go back to the previous lesson if you haven't done that yet. Now, today's lesson is about the number of an adjective. And by number, I simply mean whether an adjective is singular, in the singular form, or in the plural form. Let's look at a few examples here. So, il est grand. Il est grand. Clearly, we have an adjective that is in the masculine form, il. He is tall. Grand, il est grand. Now, what happens when we turn that sentence into a plural form? So instead of he is tall, we're going to say they are tall. So we'll say ils sont grands. Ils sont grands. Now I want you to look at to compare these two adjectives, grand here and grand here. What do you notice? Something has been added to grand, and that is an S here. All right. Now let's move on to the feminine form of grand, which is grande. Elle est grande. She is tall. That's the feminine form. What happens when we want to say that the girls are tall? They are tall. When we make it plural, we see that we will also add an extra E to the feminine form, grande. So by that, we can then deduce a rule. All right? But let's continue. Il est heureux. Il est heureux. Il est heureux. Heureux is also an adjective, and heureux this time ends with an X. Now, how about saying they are happy? What will happen to heureux then? Are we going to add an extra S? As you can see here, heureux will not take anything. In fact, heureux will remain the same. Now, je suis anglais. I am an Englishman. I'm from England. Je suis anglais. And here the je is masculine, anglais. Now, what happens when we want to turn this into a plural form and say that we are Englishmen, we are from England? Well, as you can see here, the adjective anglais here remains the same. So there are a few rules that we can derive from these observations, and let's work on those rules now. Generally speaking, to turn an adjective from the singular form into the plural form, all you need to do is add an S at the end of the singular form. So look again, here, grand was masculine singular. Grand, masculine plural form, we have to add an S. Grande was feminine singular. Grande is feminine plural. So we have to add an S. So in the majority of cases, the plural form of an adjective is singular plus S. Okay? And we also form nouns that way. All right. So we'll see that we can form nouns of occupations the same way. If I say il est calme, he's quiet. In the plural form, ils sont calmes, with an S at the end of the singular form. You just put an S. If I say elle est avocate, she's a lawyer. Elle est avocate, and I want you to say they, women, elles, sont avocates. They are lawyers. As you can see, we simply add an extra S to the singular form, avocate. So, as a rule of thumb, in order to turn an adjective from the singular to the plural form, we need to have an S, unlike in English where adjectives will remain invariable, they will not change. In French, you need to turn them into a feminine form or a plural form. For the plural form, the S will do the job. You just need to put an S at the end of an adjective. So let's look at a few more examples here. Jaune, which means yellow. Jaune, we have jaune with an S. Blanc, blanc. Froid, froid. Petit, petit. All right, so the S will remain silent. Grande, so here we have some feminine adjective now. So grande, grande. Clair, clair. Cultivé, cultivé. Décente, décente. As you can see, for both masculine and feminine adjectives, we only need to have an S to turn them into their plural form. All right. So nouns representing occupations will also have the same rule. Just add an S to the end. Étudiant, student, étudiant. Docteur, docteur. Cuisinier, cuisinier. Physicien, physicien. Now in the feminine form, étudiante, étudiante. Female students. Mécanicienne, female mechanic, mécanicienne with an S. Pâtissière, pâtissière. Élève, élève. That's how it goes. However, there are a few cases where this rule will not apply. Look at the example here. Il est anglais. He is an Englishman. He is from England. Ils sont anglais. And here we do need to add an extra S to il. There's a typo. Let's add an extra S to il to turn that into a plural form. So they, men, they are from England. Ils sont anglais. As you can see here, anglais in its masculine form singular ends with an S. In the plural form, anglais will also be here remain the same. Anglais, anglais, same. Je suis français. Je suis français with an S. Nous sommes français. We are French. Same. So, as you can see, adjectives ending in S in the singular form stick to the original forms in the plural form. Because we already have an S, no need to add an extra S. That's the rule here. Now, what happens to adjectives that will end with an X? Like heureux, happy. Il est heureux. Ils sont heureux. As you can see, heureux, heureux remain the same, no change. So for adjectives ending in S, like anglais, français, or in X, like heureux, peureux, courageux, généreux, etc., etc., those adjectives ending in X or X will remain invariable. No need to change them in the plural form. That's the rule in French. However, an adjective that will end in O, AU, as you can see here, O, pronounce O, il est beau, he is handsome, il est beau, will have its plural in X. Instead of an S, it will be X. Let's see. In general, to make the plural form of any noun or word ending in AU, you will have to have an X at the end. A word like poteau, un poteau. Un poteau is a pole, okay? Un poteau is a pole. In order to have to turn this one into its plural form, you have to have an X at the end. A word like eau, which means water, you'll have to have an X at the end. So for waters, like bodies of water. So this will be the end of our lesson on the number of an adjective, singular or plural, and the various rules that you will need to learn. Merci et à très bientôt. Au revoir. Bye.